Welcome to the Mike Leaf Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Grant Wall, joined as always by Winona State men's basketball coach Mike Leaf. And Coach, it's been a while since our last show. I had the last few weeks off with the holiday break, and a lot has happened in between now and then. Start off with a game-winning half-court shot to beat Southwest by Anthony Tucker. Followed that up by a snowstorm that, changes game times and game dates for 2 straight weekends. And then last game you play on Sunday ends with another game winner, this one by Ben Fisher in overtime over St. Cloud. It's needless to say, it's been an interesting last month for everyone around your program.
It really has, and I tell you, it's one of those things where, we mentioned before, you never know what's going to happen on any given night, but that shot by Anthony against Southwest, I've heard a lot from a lot of the people around town that were at the game and were able to see it, and those that watched it on TV. But man, that thing was just online, and Banks at home, and it's the Savior does it kind of thing. But it was you got to have some luck in certain points and times in games. But that was fun. It was a fun night, and I think it really does. From a spectator standpoint, it's fun to watch. Mm-hmm. But you're right. We had all that snow. We had so many games that were changed. We ended up playing on a Monday, Tuesday versus a Friday, Saturday, and then the next weekend changes. But those are things that you have to adapt to. And I think in the long run, if you're fortunate enough to get into the postseason, these things will come into play, and I think they're going to help you out. But we've had some great ball games along the line.
And in those 6 games since our last show, go 5-1, the only loss coming to Minnesota State.
Yep.
What do you know now, or maybe what have you seen out of your team in these last 6 games that maybe you hadn't seen before that you didn't quite know about them?
Well, I was disappointed in the Mankato game. We had with about 2 minutes to play, it's a 4-point game, and we made some mistakes down the line, which we shouldn't have. But then we came back strong, and we played some really tough competition in our league along the line. And the last one, even Concordia St. Paul, you got St. Cloud and Northern State, and you got these teams that are everybody's battling for positions. And so the major thing that I've learned about our team is that we're going through some growing pains, but we're gaining confidence. And when I mean that is that we've changed our lineup a little bit. Some people have had to adapt to coming off the bench where they may not have before. But that confidence level is so very, very important. And I think probably the biggest thing is that each of the players is starting to understand their roles more, and they know what their teammates' roles are. And we're making better passes. We're taking care of the ball. Mm-hmm. We're rebounding so much better, and we had that conversation a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
But we are. We're rebounding so much better, but our team defense has really been our strength. So, again, just gaining that confidence.
I want to ask you about the new lineups. Kind of tweaked those around the last 4 or 5 games. Going with a smaller lineup, Joel Armstrong, C.J. Erickson coming off the bench over the last couple of games, and guys like John Wahlberg, Kellen Taylor, Xavier Humphrey, Taylor Cameron, they're the guys that are getting the start, going with a little bit of a smaller lineup. Mm-hmm. You want to get some of that quickness and athleticism on the court right away and then come in with those big guys a little bit later, or what's kind of the process behind those changes?
Well, I think that I think there's a great spark in John Wahlberg, especially coming off the bench. And we did start him one game, and the reason being was because Anthony Tucker did have the flu.
Yep.
And but him coming off the bench is such a great spark. C.J. Erickson is a great role player, and I think one of the things was he was slumping, and we wanted to really build his confidence, and he comes off the bench right now, and who knows, we could change that, but he blocks shots, mm-hmm. he rebounds, and he plays great defense. And you can go up and down the line on those players. So, I've told them before, it's not who starts the game, it's the players that finish the game. Mm-hmm. And that's what's really, really important. So they have a tremendous role for us. they're still playing the same amount of minutes. And sometimes players just have to get over that so-called starting a game, and that's not important, like I said. But those guys are coming off the bench, and they're doing a tremendous job. And I think we're trying to get the chemistry out there where certain players work together with each other that much better.
And another guy who's coming off the bench and has seen his role increase over the last few games has been Caleb Palkert, the transfer who's in his first season here at Winona State, and he is playing fantastic basketball, especially there on the defensive end.
Yeah, he's a only true shot blocker, and he really can. He really makes any perimeter player taking the ball to the basket. He makes it difficult for him. And but he's one of the things with him is he needed to get stronger. More physical, and he's finding that out in the games that we've played, and he's been getting better game in, game out, and he's been he comes in there and he's done a tremendous job, like you mentioned, and we want to increase his minutes and just to spell Clayton Vette and Joel Armstrong and get in there and do his thing. But he can score as well, and he's just got to make sure that he's physical and taking the ball to the basket. And a lot of people don't know he's a tremendous three-point shooter.
Yeah.
And he's only taken a few of them this year, but that will increase as the year goes on.
And then speaking also of Clayton Vette, monster game on Sunday against St. Cloud, 28 points, 13 rebounds, really supplied a lot of offense in a game where you needed a lot of offense. 93 points was the final there in overtime. Just talk about him and the physical presence that he provides down low.
Well, he's such a strong young man, and I think that it's just a matter of one of the things that we have always wanted to have is balanced scoring with our perimeter and our inside play. And Clayton's got a nice touch, he really does, and just using his body, taking it strong to the basket. Even against the St. Cloud game, he hits a three-pointer, and he's not a bad outside shooter by any means. It's just a matter of if they leave you wide open, Clayton, knock it down. And that's something that we had done in the past with John Smith. So he's that particular game, he really went after it, and you don't see it, but he had 13 rebounds for us, offensive boards he got for us. He got some tip-ins, and he was just a force inside. And again, we talked earlier about the confidence level, and Clayton's doing a nice job, and that's what we're looking for.
He sure is. And we will be right back here on the Mike Leaf Show. Speaking of Clayton Vette, Matt Prink's going to sit down with Vette himself, talk a little bit about how this season's going. So we'll be right back here on the Warrior Sports Network.
Looking for great off-campus housing? Great River Management and Sales has a large selection of houses and apartments representing many of Winona's property owners. Owners and renters rely on Great River Management. Stop by the Great River Boat at Main and Broadway and see what we can do for you.
Welcome back to the Mike Leaf Show. I'm Matt Prink, and joining me now is Big Country, Clayton Vette. Clayton, you guys have had a terrific season so far. A few bumps in the road, Mankato, as well as UMD, but come off a big win this past weekend over Concordia. Let's break down that game first. You guys won, jumped out to a 25-point lead at halftime. What was your success? What happened there in that first half?
I think we hit a lot of threes. We were hitting on all cylinders with those, and we had good rotation on defense. I think we were getting them pretty flustered. They were getting some decent shots, but they weren't making them. But we were rebounding pretty well, and I mean that's our mentality is get stops and score on the other end. And I think we did a pretty good job of that in the first half.
It seemed like you really got started on Saturday and then brought that into Sunday. Even in that Saturday game, not an easy place to play up there at the Gangelhoff Center. But you had a very good performance, followed that up with a 28 performance against St. Cloud. You were the KQL player of the game and really took advantage of those young guys up there at St. Cloud as they've had a lot of their big men go down with injury.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a lot of injuries this year. Their big guys, I think, are going to be pretty good. They're just young. But yeah, just shots are falling. Hit that three and just kind of got a little confidence going there. And I was just setting a lot of screens, trying to move on the offensive end, and I think that really helped me to get open and get some isolations on their big guys where I was able to take advantage of it. So.
Yeah, you had your career-high 28 points and 13 rebounds, certainly taking advantage. without Matt Schneck there now, was that something you guys went into that game saying, they may have Witt, we'll try and shut him down with Fisher, and we're going to try and take advantage down low? Is that maybe your game plan against the Huskies?
Yeah, Coach had on the board, take it at their big guys. They're young. He said they're pretty good. They're pretty athletic, and they got decent size. But I think just our offense in general, with how many shooters we had and how many guys were hitting threes, it was really opening it up on the inside for me. So I was definitely able to take advantage of it. So.
Let's talk a little bit about Ben Fisher, now the all-time assist leader here at Winona State, and really, you guys work well together. You come up a lot of screen and roll opportunities. You knock down that three-point shot every now and then. Talk a little bit about Fisher and how much better he makes this offense and even just the team in general.
Yeah, obviously Ben is a great passer. We'd obviously like him to shoot a little more sometimes, but he's so willing with the ball to give it up before he shoots. And when there's shot clock gets down, there's always that two-man game where we just go to the side and do a little pick and roll action. Usually we can get a pretty good shot. And there was one time in the game where he came off my screen, turned the corner, and there's no way he was looking at me, and just threw it behind my head because he knew I'd be cutting to the hole, and got it and laid it up. But we're just playing together for a couple years now and got a pretty nice little rhythm with him. So
you guys run through that last shot up at St. Cloud. Of course, Witt sinks the 4-foot from behind the line, three-point shot, send it to overtime. But you guys have been practicing that 4-low look all season long and shoot-arounds. What did the coaches say to you guys? Did they say, Fisher, take it to the hole, try and get to the free throw line, or what was the mentality?
Yeah, on that 4-low, we set the screens for the shooters to come out, pop to the corners, and the big guys can slip. But Ben took it upon himself, and his thought process was, I don't want to throw it away. I just want to get a shot off. Worst comes to worst, we go into overtime. But 4-low, obviously Ben can. He can take a lot of guys off the dribble, but Putz did a pretty good job on the defensive end, and he spun middle, and I wanted him to shoot it because I had pretty good rebounding position, so I wanted him to get a shot up on the rim, but it went in, and it was good.
It was very good. A great win up there in St. Cloud, Hallenbeck Hall. You guys have battled sickness too, kind of around the Christmas time, the New Year's, and Anthony Tucker had to, he didn't start a few games, and you kind of were a little ill. Brad Meyer, Kellen Taylor. How have you guys kind of driven through that adversity?
I think it's just how much depth we have. It really shows when that kind of stuff happens. We don't need a guy to score 20 points a night because we got 5 or 6 guys that can do that on any given night. So I think that really, when good guys aren't feeling 100%, there's obviously 3 or 4 guys that can step up and do the job. So I think that really helps us.
All right, we call you Big Country, but we talked a little bit about getting some other nicknames to a few guys, and Caleb Pelkert, usually your bus mate, we all kind of sit together. He blocked a few shots with his elbow, but what is a good nickname for Pelkert?
I was going to say Pac-Man, just because, I don't know, it goes together. And a lot of people don't know, but he is a Pac-Man. Like, he's really good at the game Pac-Man.
He's very good.
He's very good.
He also eats up those rebounds.
Yeah, pretty much he blocks shots with his armpits and stuff. So that obviously, he's definitely our defender. He protects the basket pretty good. So I think Pac-Man's pretty good.
And for our viewers also, you can't see the new purchase by Big Country Clayton Vette. So you can bring those gigantic cowboy boots. Those are 16 double wide?
Extra wide.
Extra wide.
Yeah.
They're not easy to find, but what do you prefer? Do you like the cowboy boots? Do you like the gym shoes, some flip-flops?
I don't know. I think, back home, everybody, my brother, my dad, and my brother-in-law, we all wear cowboy boots, and it's not a big thing. But I come up here and everybody just either makes not make fun of me, but just always points it out, and it's just funny because back home obviously people wear them all the time, so it's not a real big deal. But up here it's just kind of funny when I get the crazy little weird looks when I'm walking down a hallway and just sound like I got high heels on and stuff. Maybe
we have to start calling you the sheriff. I don't know. It may work. Do you guys have horses back home in Waverly?
Yeah, my sister does, and so we go over there.
Is there a large enough horse to carry you?
My brother's a pretty big guy too, and we actually have their horses are a little older, and they actually lay down on us a couple times. They just give up. It's kind of funny. I don't know if I should lose a little weight or what. But.
I think you're pretty good right now. You're coming off a great weekend. Congratulations. certainly your best performance as a Winona State Warrior so far. Coming up next on the Mike Leaf Show, Grant Wall will rejoin me and we'll talk a little bit about the big wins this past weekend.
At Hy-Vee, your health is what matters most.
That's why we offer hundreds of organic and heart-healthy foods.
Expertise in disease management and over 100 in-store dietitians. We'll customize a diet and exercise program for you and your family. We're your personal health team, here to keep you healthy and happy.
Welcome back to the Mike Leaf Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. Grant Wall joined once again, as always, by Matt Prink, voice of the Warriors. And Matt, 6 games since our last show. Men's basketball team goes 5-1 in those 6, and I don't think that you can pack much more into those 6 games when you consider first game of those 6 against Southwest. 3, what could have been 3 game-winning shots, ends up Anthony Tucker hits the final 3, a half-court banker as time expires. And we have all the weather problems that move games around, capped off Sunday by Ben Fisher hitting a shot from the elbow to win in overtime over St. Cloud. It has been, you've had a front row seat for it all, doing the games for the radio. It has been a 6-game stretch to remember for the Warriors.
If you haven't already heard about this Winona State team, I'd start coming to McCown Gymnasium, starting with this weekend. But, yeah, what a bunch of games, and it's not easy, over winter break when, you're heading home, you're heading back, trying to visit family. But, they did go 5-1, and, a tough game. Mankato is a very good basketball team, and they played them hard, but, Jefferson Mason played out of his mind, and is very good talent. But Winona State, you certainly are capping off. They capped off 2010 the right way. They started 2011. What better way than beating a very talented team. St. Cloud is, as Steve Carley and I said the other night, they're probably one of the best 6-6 overall teams, and they're right behind us. They're in 3rd place. They're a very talented team, and that is no easy place to go in and play.
They're a team that lost a lot from last year and have kind of had to figure out exactly who they are this season. But and Coach Leaf is very fond of saying every game in the NSIC is a game that you can't take lightly. You have to take every single one seriously. And you look at St. Cloud, not a great overall record, but boy, that's not really a team that I want to come across late in the season.
Well, when you flaunt the guy like Taylor Witt, who he can hit it from anywhere, and they got one of the hottest players in the NSIC, Bernstetter.
Yep.
Really, that was a tough game, and Winona State pulled it out. And you see it now defensively. This team has kind of reshaped their image on defense. In the passing lanes, right up on you. No more of this kind of sagging off team defense, but they've just done a nice job, mainly on the defensive end. Helping out down low, up top, and fighting through the sickness, as we said, as we talked with Clayton. It's not an easy thing to do, but this team is just starting to mesh at the right time.
And let's go back now. Talk a little bit about that St. Cloud game, because it was probably the best final 2 minutes of game time of any basketball game that I have ever been to. It had everything, heart-stopping moments on both sides. So let's go back here. Minute 6 to play, Warriors down. Xavier Humphrey hits a 3 that could have won the game. Goes in. Warriors are up. So now they have an advantage. We get the clock down. Trade a couple free throws, get the clock down. Winona State fouls with about 10 seconds to go. Player from Southwest, and I can't remember which one it was, but he misses his second free throw. Loose ball. They come up with it. Nail a 3 with 6 seconds to play to go back on top. Now, I'm sitting there courtside thinking, this has got to be the worst way to lose. You just hit a shot that could have given you the win, and now they hit one on top of you. And then the Warriors do it again, hitting a 3rd shot. Anthony Tucker taking 2 dribbles, getting the ball past half court, 2 dribbles right to that half court line, a high arcing banker that just goes in as time expires. that was entertaining basketball at its peak.
Well, you look at that weekend in general, you know, the students weren't here, but McCown Gymnasium still fairly full, and Southwest, one of those dangerous trap teams, kind of middle of the pack in the NSIC, and you know, how much better can you draw that play up? A triple screen for Anthony Tucker, who really had the hot hand all evening, and you know, they sprung him open from the Warrior head. He banked it in, and I mean, that kind of catapulted this team now, got that momentum going and got that energy, that magic back at McCown a little bit. Yeah, they lost to Mankato the following night, but they're slowly gaining momentum. You see now on the road. I think that was the most important thing about this past weekend. Yeah, they had that big win against Northern State 2 weeks ago, but can you win on the road? And they won big against Concordia St. Paul.
And after this weekend, hosting Crookston and Moorhead, they're going to have another chance to go out and prove it. Their next 4 games after that do come on the road. So another chance to go into hostile environments and pull out conference wins.
Yeah, and you know, it's never an easy road trip. We always talk about heading out to Augustana, Wayne State, you know, trying to get your body ready, trying to, you know, the short turnaround period and just a long bus ride. You know, no one likes long bus rides, but certainly you got to come out and play. And you know, Wayne State, a very talented team. The record doesn't reflect it. And Augustana always up there in the top 3, top 5 for sure. So Winona State, that'll be really the heart of their away schedule. And if they come out of that 3-1, 4-0, which they're absolutely capable of doing, that'll be the true test of the NSIC so far.
That's absolutely right. And Coach Leaf and his staff have kind of shaken up the starting lineup a little bit, and we'll ask Coach about that later on in the program. But they've got some fresh faces in. You're seeing some new guards going with a little bit of a smaller lineup, getting guys like Kellen Taylor, Xavier Humphrey into the lineup, bringing a C.J. Erickson off the bench. What have you seen in that spark? Some of those guys coming in, adding energy there in that starting role, whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 10 minutes that they're playing right at the front of the game, just a spark coming from those guys.
I think you see Kellen Taylor, immediate impact on the defensive end. He's a high-energy player. He brings that spark, like you said, to the defense. Yeah, he'll draw those fouls early in the game, but then you bring a guy like C.J. Erickson off the bench, which he'll definitely start anywhere else. So it's just that mixing and matching that Mike Leaf, he can do that because he knows what players fit in where, and Kellen Taylor sparks them on the defensive end where they're lacking just a little bit early in the season. But that shutdown long defender, and then Xavier Humphrey, just a great three-point shooter, but people don't see the little things that Xavier Humphrey does. He's a great passer. He gets back in transition. You'll always see him, when C.J. Erickson, you see these breakaway dunk opportunities, Wahlberg doing a nice job off the bench, but Xavier Humphrey is always back at the defensive end, offensive end, in transition, a very quick player that a lot of people, you don't see the flash from X. I like to call him Professor X, and that's what he is. He just goes about his business, and he's always just that consistent player.
Yep, one of those glue guys, one of those role guys who is absolutely essential for a great team to have. Well, that is all the time we have here for this segment. We'll be right back. Mike Leaf joins me again. Talk a little bit more about the upcoming games for the Warriors.
Oh, shoot. Grab the detergent. Mariana Dulas's jersey! Oh my gosh. So excited. It's a perfect fit! Oh my gosh, I'm so... Where did my jersey go? Phoebe.
Yeah, Dulas. Run forward. Push down, forward. Choosing. Shoot. Oh!
Why do you have my jersey?
Well, I thought that it looked so good on me. But
we need it for the big game this weekend.
But what 10?
Can I please have it back?
I'll play you one-on-one for it. How's that sound?
You can have the ball for it.
Yes. There's inhalers in there.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks. Good luck for a bunch of projectile. You lost for 3.
Welcome back to the Mike Leaf Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. And Coach, looking forward to this weekend. 2 more big NSIC conference games. Friday night, Minnesota Crookston comes in, and then Saturday night playing MSU Moorhead here in McCowan Gymnasium. In preparation for these 2 games, what have you seen out of these teams that you need to be watching for this weekend?
Well, the major thing right now is that, Crookston has always been a team that has kind of been on the lower level in our league, but I tell you what, they're really well coached. And, we've had some barn burners against them in the past. Moorhead has a brand new coach on board. We've been watching game film, and actually at practice today went through some of Moorhead's things. So our sequence is we use the beginning of the week for Saturday's game, and then the end of the week for Friday's game. So, but they're 2 teams that can be very dangerous, and we saw, Moorhead has had some great upsets this year so far, and for Moorhead, they've got 2 particular players that are extremely quick, like to take the ball to the basket. They get 2 really great 3-point shooters, and they've got a presence inside, literally about 300 pounds that are inside. So, they're a tough basketball team. And again, it's going to be a new situation because of the new coaching staff at Moorhead, and at Crookston we know quite a bit about them. But it's nice to be at home. I'll tell you that. It's really nice to be at home. We've got our students back on campus, and our guys are pumped up. This past weekend really showed us a lot about our squad on the road, and I really do believe we're building a confidence. They're not shortchanging anything. Believe me, I don't let them do that. It is one game at a time, and we're preparing that way for this weekend. We know we're going to be 4 more games on the road after that, and we've got to take care of business at that point in time. But right now, our focus will be on Crookston on Friday night, and Moorhead we will worry about on Saturday once we hopefully get that victory on Friday. But it's an important weekend for us because we're 1 behind Mankato in the standings, and there's so many tremendous teams in our league. We got to do a good job and take care of business.
And sitting at 7-2 in the conference, like you said, just 1 game in the loss column behind Mankato. Obviously, you'd like to have those games against Duluth and Mankato back, but you have to be pleased as you look at the league standings and the rest of the schedule. You have to be pleased that you're once again in the hunt for a conference championship.
Oh, absolutely. You always want to be there, but you're right. We're disappointed about those 2 losses. I think, the Duluth game, it was, we just did not play very well, and that was a whole schedule thing, and there's a lot that goes behind it, but like I told our players, that will happen. When you get to the regionals, if you're fortunate enough to get to the regionals, things like that happen, and game times change, and officials change, and all these things come into play, but we have to worry about ourselves. And being prepared, step out on that floor and do the things that we do in practice. So it was disappointing on those losses, but at the same time, I think it's given us a lot more focus. So we're going to get after it this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it.
You raved in the preseason before game started. You raved about Kellen Taylor coming off a redshirt year, inserted into the starting lineup over the last couple of games. What has he done to earn his way into that starting 5, and are you seeing some of those things on the court that you liked so much before the season started?
Well, his dad, Corky's about 6'9", and he's about 300 pounds, and he threatened me, so I... No, in all seriousness, Kellen, so he's very quick. He really attacks the basket very well. He can shoot the 3. He's not, he continues to improve every single day. Probably the biggest thing about Kellen is his communication. He really talks to the players, plays great defense. He's just adding that element. And, even though, he's playing about 20 minutes a game, it's not like he's playing the full 40, but he's a nice, he's a factor on the court when we start the game. He'll take charges, he'll be aggressive, and that's the guy that we will replace with your, John Wahlbergs and your C.J. Erickson's coming off the bench. So he's been a great role player for us, and like I said, probably the biggest thing is his hustle and his rebounding and hustle are two of the biggest things for us.
Another one of those role players, and I'm sure that hustle and defense are things you're going to say when I ask you about this guy. But another one of those role players who's playing fantastic right now is Brad Meyer, really playing well on the defensive end and has been all year. Over the last couple games, especially this past weekend against Concordia St. Paul and St. Cloud, his offensive game has really taken off, made some big shots in both of those wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he's hitting the three-pointer. One of the things with Brad, the guy's about 6'4", but he will take the ball to the basket, and he finishes. And he's not afraid of contact. He's very physical. The other thing, too, about Brad is when we put him in the game, he normally comes in for Xavier Humphrey, is that we'll put him on one of their best players. And he plays great defense. And even, against St. Cloud, he got in the game and he got beat on the dribble twice. And I went after him because he's better than that. And, boy, he responded. And next thing you know, the next 3-4 possessions, he shuts his man down. So Brad is a tremendous person off the bench, and he gives us a lot of energy out there on the floor.
Absolutely. Well, that's all the time we have here today, Coach. Thank you very much for watching, everybody at home. And we will see you Friday in McCowan Gymnasium here in Winona. The Warriors take on Minnesota Crookston. Can't wait to see you there. It's Hawaiian night as well, so come decked out in.
I don't know if I have an Hawaiian outfit in black, but I'll look.
Coach will try to find something. We expect to see you there in the stands. Another great game here in Winona. Then again Saturday against Minnesota State Moorhead. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week on the Mike Leaf Show.